What's going on? How you doing? Your boy, Chris Jack, the Canvas Nomad, back with another one. I can't wait till I can add to the nomad part. Canvases are there, and life is a canvas, so I'm painting it. But I think you still want to see the nomadic side visually. So I'll get there. But yeah, today I kind of just want to talk about something it's like, it's one of those things that is so obvious, but yet it takes a long time to actually learn. And that's the value of time. Time is the only, it's like, well, it's the one resource I can think of that you never ever get back. You never get back. And life is just this juggle of time. You see, the people that I feel like own the plantations that we work on now, they understand the concept of time. That's why they're willing to give money for time. And people willy-nilly just give away their time for money. But they understand that there's only 24 hours in a day. And because there's only 24 hours in a day, the only way to double your output is to get somebody else, and now you have 48 hours. Then you get somebody else, you have 72 hours, and so forth, right? So now you can maximize the amount of work that you do in one day. And then because of the illusion, they came up with laws and stuff to make it more easily digestible for people that, prefer a more employee life. And I'm not talking about entrepreneurs that are sponsored by somebody else. I'm not talking about people that, try to get on stuff like this, YouTube, and try to make a living for themselves. I mean, more or less people that literally do like administrative work. You're not like top level CEOs, although those people are on plantations. They're just not in the field, if that makes sense. Time. See, these people started running, and my natural instinct was just to start running too, because why are they running? But yeah, time is just one of those things that you can't get back. And what companies do is they'll freely give you money because money means nothing to them, but it means everything to people who I would say is probably less than maybe $100 million, right? At the $100 million, money probably doesn't mean anything to you unless you want to climb the ladder, and then the more you have, the more you want. So it's unfortunate. Maybe even billionaire status is when money doesn't really matter, right? And I mean in net worth, like in your bank account already, not on your way, not like you have it. If you needed it right now, even if it took you a couple of days, you could get that money because it's yours. Time is just something you can't get back. That's why influence matters in this world right now, because companies know if they can keep so for example, let's say general population time schedule, right? You wake up anywhere from 6 to 9 o'clock. You probably got to be at work anywhere from 8 to 11. You give your 8 hours to a logo. Then you're probably going home anywhere from 5 to 8 o'clock. You have 5 hours generally by yourself, depending on your travel time, including those 8 hours of work that you do, unless you work part-time or something like that. But like I said, generalities. You have 5 hours generally to yourself. Now, if you got kids, that probably comes down to about 2 hours, because you got to pick up the kids from school. Mind you, your kids are somewhere else being trained for 8 hours. You're asleep for 8 hours. So basically 2/3 of the day you're not with your kids, right? 2/3 of the day you're not with your kids. 2/3 of the day you're not with your significant, unless y'all work together, which, that there's pros and cons to that. So you're not even with your family for more than a third of the day. And then that third is usually taken up by chores, things on the to-do list for yourself, for your life. So really, the quality time that you get with your family is minimal because you got to spend it with your kids. They probably go to sleep around 8, 9 o'clock. You got to spend it with your significant other. You probably only have 2 hours, an hour. If y'all don't live together, probably an hour. If y'all live together, maybe 2, 3 hours if you push it, if you stretch it. And then you got to work on something for you because you need a hobby. You might want to play video games, whatever the case may be. So they understand all of that has to fit into a 24-hour frame gap. And we all human. I don't care what level of financial wealth you're at on the hierarchy. You're human. You want to spend it with your family. You want to spend all this time with, your peoples. So now, if I say, hey, I can hire 8 hours for every individual that I have per day, your output becomes substantial. But then some people will be like, oh, if you want to work more hours, you'll get paid overtime. The incentive is the extra money. But you're still losing precious time. And the concept that I see a lot is you ain't doing nothing else, you might as well work. So you give all your time and effort to a logo just for one day for you to wake up. And then you have a special meeting with HR and one other person like your manager or something. And then you get that meeting and they tell you you're either laid off or we're going to give you severance pay, whatever the case may be. And now you're like, I dedicated all this time to this logo, to this plantation, and that's how y'all let me go? Is it really worth it? I don't know. I feel like time is precious. And you want to keep all the time for yourself so that you can plan it out, but you got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then yes, that the societal ladder, as I like to call it, because it starts at 5 years old. The societal ladder, in my opinion, starts at 5 years old. You go to kindergarten, you work your way up, K through 12. Then if you go to college, you got another 4 years. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, you got another 4 years, and you finally start life whenever it is. Then you stay up the corporate, and then you go up the corporate ladder. That's why I say societal ladder, because you're just at the end of the scholastic ladder, you're jumping to the corporate ladder and continuing, right? If you don't know what you want to do, at least that path is laid out for you, but understand that's the plantation lot path. Now, if you want freedom, you have to find a way to jump off of a ladder onto a ladder that you want to. Now that ladder may be lower than where you are, but the climb is higher. So your peak is higher. At the end of the day, a plantation job is only going to be available until somebody that came before you leaves. And then a spot opens up, the dominoes, kind of fall into place vertically going up, right? I know that didn't make sense, but you get what I'm trying to say. It kind of, the pieces move up the pie. It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. Pyramid scheme, as I like to call it. It is a pyramid scheme, really. But and they understand that as long as you don't value your time more than money, that they will always have more employees because people need money to survive. But if you don't need the survival part, you want your time back. But people, it's like people can't see that it's the time. And maybe there's a balance. Maybe you can balance it out, plantation life with, and that's what I think gatekeepers do. I think gatekeepers are the people that benefit greatly off of the societal ladder, and they become the role models within society to keep you in line, right? They don't know that they're doing it half the time. In fact, they would preach the very same thing that I'm preaching. They don't realize that they're just part of the system as well. That's why I can't blame them, the entities that they usually align with. And this could be anything from an A&R to, you guessed it, just people that keep the status quo in check. They'll do things like give back to the community and fight for rights and all this stuff. But at the same time, if you really see beyond if you just peel back the curtain a little bit, the societal ladder is not necessarily the thing that, somebody has to work. Somebody has to build the infrastructure. Somebody has to work at the Target. Somebody has to work at the Walmart. That's true. But my thing is, why does it have to be a Target or a Walmart? Why can't it be the family-owned store down the block? You get what I'm saying? Why can't it be the family-owned business wherever it is? Now, that's besides the point. People would rather work in these establishments than do the work themselves to have a more free and open society. But now you got conglomerates running everything. But because of the monopoly law, you think, everything can't be run by one company. Of course it is. Because at the end of the day, all these companies are invested by the same people. For instance, BlackRock or Vanguard. Those are the owners of these organizations. Yes, the owner is under somebody else, but if it's a publicly traded company, the board of directors technically own the company. You could even be voted out as the owner. So what do you really own? Now, you have things like the Walden family, the DuPont family. All of these people made millions, even billions, off of using the time of other people to keep their family at the top of the hierarchy. When you start to realize that time is the most valuable thing, and the funny thing is, we all know it is, but to play that game where you still need to survive in this society and world, you can't afford not to sacrifice your time. But my thing is, we need to sacrifice it at healthy doses and continue to allocate at least a proportionate amount of that time into something that we want to blossom for ourselves, so we're no longer giving our time away, and now all that time is ours. That's when you're truly living a fruitful life. That's when you're truly living a fruitful life. I'm not there. I've tasted it, I've seen it a little bit, but I'm not there. But I'm working my way towards it. And with your support, by the way, subscribe, like the button below. With your support, I hope I can show you that there is a way out, and that's what I aim to do with this channel. I just think travel is the thing that unlocks that potential. And until I get, like I said, I keep reminding y'all in every video, my next juncture, as soon as I get all my paperwork and I start that juncture, that'll be the second step of earning my freedom. Not saying you have to take that path. That's just the path that I understood helps a lot greatly. It synergizes with the channel. It synergizes with what I want to do in life. And it is a plantation. But at least it's a plantation that elevates me to get to where I want to be. And it's an unconventional plantation. So it is what it is, right? But time. Use your time wisely. Make sure that you understand that when you are giving your time, you're sacrificing every second, every minute, every hour you spend on a plantation. Understand that that's time that you're taking away from yourself. And because if you sleep 8 hours a day, work 8 hours a day, that means you only get to live for 33 years of your life, doing whatever it is that you want, if you live to 100. Well, 99 really. So just understand, you gotta really sit there and understand what's at stake, what you want to do for yourself. And by all means, I tell you, you will get to where you want to be, but you just gotta know how to invest your time. Think as time as currency. Think as an hour as a dollar. Think of a half hour or 15 minutes as a quarter, and so forth and so forth. You will you will definitely, you'll definitely get to where you want to be if you do those things. But attention is currency. All remember that. So the amount of eyes that you have on you is also the amount of currency you can possibly get. And to me, flying below the radar but still have eyes on you that can support your lifestyle, to me, that's the sweet spot. That is the sweet spot. But that's all I have for today. I just kind of wanted to put that in my journal and just manifest it into existence, and understanding that time is the most valuable thing that anybody has. If you don't have time, then you don't have anything. You can have all the money in the world and no time. Look at doctors that work 14, 16 hours a day. Yeah, they got all the money. They never with their family. They never basically at home. And they vacation maybe, I don't know, a month out of the year. And that's the only time. And even then, they're still responding to emails, answering questions. And look how the wives of some doctors are. You know what I mean? Miserable, upset that they don't have their husband, yada, 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 but they're living the life. And it's still a life of misery. I'm telling you, perspective. Perspective is reality, people. Understand that the doctor looks like he's having a great life because he's making all this money. So to your perspective, he's living a great life. And again, we need doctors. Somebody's got to do the job. But we don't need a bunch of cashiers. Damn sure. Matter of fact, AI is going to take away those jobs come soon. So really, you're only going to need skilled labor going forward. And even that will probably be at stake. I wouldn't be surprised if influencing becomes taken away. You got to survive and adapt in this world. Back in the day, we had to be great hunters just to survive. We had to know how to build huts. We had to know how to do this because the technology, the way of survival, changed. And in 2024 today, it's generally about how much money you have. How much money can you accumulate for survival? Giving your time away is the worst thing you can do because it creates a cap on how much money you can make based on whatever the owner, CEO, i.e. slave master says, right? But if you have your time and you're able to allocate that resourcefully, and I'm only now realizing this. I mean, I've always known it, but to really understand it, see it, and to take action towards it, I'm telling you, like, it wouldn't have been known if I didn't, like, if the epiphany just didn't happen. I've said this many times over, but I never took action towards it until I did. To me. And then what's greatest about it is the more time you spend doing something for you instead of another entity, the longer what you did lives on. It's funny how the universe works. The more time you spend on something, the more time you get back from it. So if you give all your time to a logo, you think you are the one benefiting? No, you're doing the logo's work. So guess who's going to benefit? The logo. The logo is going to live on, and you're just going to be another person, another blimp on the map that, God spares life, had a great life, and you're no longer here anymore. You had kids? Okay, you have a legacy. The last name lives on. Give it 2-3 generations. If you ain't do nothing, you're forgotten. So, I'm just saying, do what you got to do. Invest the time into things that will benefit you financially. And make sure that financial investment in time brings you happiness. Very hard to do. I'm not saying it's not. But it's the only way that all of this works. The game is not set up for you to win. But if you know the rules of the game, it's easier to play. It's your boy Chris Jack, Canvas Nomad here. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you got this far in the video, you my friend, I appreciate it. Peace.